Welcome to the Happiness Telesummit. I'm Erica Glessing. I'm your host, and I have a most fabulous and beautiful guest with me today who's actually from New Zealand. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hey everyone, thanks Erica for having me.
Oh my goodness, so you are on a journey. Your life has changed immeasurably in the last year, and I'm blessed to have been in your space during this massive evolution. I'm going to introduce Rebecca. She's an author of the new book, The Energy of Receiving. Her chapter is called Insanity, The Adventure of Letting Control Go, and does not feel good. Oh my goodness. Rebecca actually I was at a fire walk at age 12. She lives in Christchurch, New Zealand. She's just fiery on fire. She's an author. She has other books. She teaches access consciousness, among other things. And I am just fabulously excited to have you here, Rebecca. Welcome.
Thank you, what an amazing introduction. I want to know who she is.
I know, and I forgot to say, and she's a dancer. Ah!
Cat on the bag. Sorry everyone.
I'm going to jump right in. When you're a dancer and your body is your dance and you're faced with kind of this sort of judgment-oriented world around dance, tell me a little bit about that and what you did to shake that.
Well, the first thing I did was acknowledge that I had been soaking in other people's self-abuse through the mirror for 17 years in a dance school. I trained professionally. I trained in one of the hardest professions in dance, ballet, and it doesn't have to be, but a lot of the time it's based off judgment. And unless it wasn't until I realized that that was how this world was functioning that I was able to have a different possibility for myself. Before that, I was like trapped in that cycle that everyone else is going around. Does this look right? Does the teacher like me? What if the other students hate me? What's going on? Am I better than her? Will I get the part? What do I do if she gets the part? This whole like mind trip going on. That until you realize that most of it isn't yours, and how much of a healer you are in that situation, like there is no freedom to have a different reality. And dance is supposed to be fun.
I know, right? Not every one of my audience does access consciousness. So tell us a little bit about That Doesn't Belong to Me. I love that tool you just mentioned, and I run into it when I'm trying on clothes in the if I'm trying on clothes in the stores. I run into feeling that sense of self-loathing, and then I recognize this is like trapped in the mirrors of the stores. So talk a little bit about that. It doesn't belong to me, and how that can play out and what we can do to tell us the tool a little bit.
This tool, Who Does It Belong To, has been around a while, but that doesn't mean that I paid attention to it for a long time. It's one of those ones that you get it when you get it. And so the idea is that up to 99% of all the thoughts, the feelings, and the emotions, and sometimes the physical sensations too that you experience, aren't actually yours. Have you ever been told that you're an infinite being? Or had that concept appear to you? So would an infinite being have this stuff going on, or would it just be aware of it? And for me, it was light that I was an infinite being, that I had an amazing amount of awareness. And once I realized that, I was able to use this tool when something came up, like, oh, I'm having a horrible day. And I go, hold on a second, am I actually having a horrible day? Who does that belong to? And then it might lighten up and go away. Or I might ask another question, like, is it mine? Or is it someone else's? Or is it something else's? And generally, damn it, I couldn't have a drama queen moment. It wasn't mine. And so it would change, or it would go away, and I'd be happy.
Tell me a little bit about, in your chapter, you say the insanity of letting control go. And I'm guessing in the happiness world, like those of us on the summit, those listening to the summit, we might attract perfectionists, since I'm a perfectionist. We might attract those people for whom, you know, control is not like, it's seen as like something that we must do so that everything works. So tell me a little bit about this concept of letting control go, because it's very seductive.
Well, yeah, let's start at the very start. So when we're founders of Access Consciousness, the phenomenal Dr. Jane here, who's now one of my great friends, pulled me up on a table at a class of his and proceeded to acknowledge and tell everyone in the room and on the live stream that I was indeed a control freak. I was amazing energetic work that can really change your entire reality by working on the molecules of your body. And I was stiff as a brick, lying down, being up here, I'm receiving, I'm doing this. And he goes, wow, you're a real control freak. And I burst out laughing, which was a sure sign that it was acknowledging what I was doing. And so really, like, hands up, who's a control freak? Who's a perfectionist? I know I am. And so what I realized eventually, it wasn't instant, so if you don't get it now, please don't make yourself wrong. This definitely was a 3 to 6 month thing for me, that desiring control is not a wrongness. It is actually a capacity. And at the same time, there's a way that you can use it to control you, which is like basically disabling you. Or you can use it to control like the energy, which can create a greater possibility.
Mm.
Because
I'm very relieved that I don't have to give up everything.
I mean, I'm a strong believer in keeping what works, and I know that pretty much everything that you think is wrong with you is a capacity. And so with this, I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm a control freak, and everyone's talking about giving up control and not being a perfectionist, but what if there's actually nothing wrong with this? Like, what if this could really create something? And so I started looking at what other control freaks were doing, and it didn't seem to hinder their lives. And I got that instead of using it to control me, I could like use it to create a greater possibility. So I started asking the question, how could I control this to create a greater possibility? And magic started showing up. And boring situations where people that I wasn't really interested in would start talking about something interesting, or they just completely change their point of view, or I might be having difficulty in a business meeting, and I just asked the question, okay, how could I control this to create a greater possibility? And like instantly, someone would start talking about some idea. And that happens because you have a capacity to change the energy.
I love this so much. And I just want to let everyone know that if you're interested in working with Rebecca further, we've put together the most fabulous package for you on body. And maybe, Rebecca, just give us a little insight into one of the audio courses that people can pick up right now from you.
Well, thank you for saying that first. That's really lovely, Erica. One of the ones that I've put up is an activation where it starts to get you into like the joy of your body and the lack of controlling it from the sense that, you know, it must do this and it must do that and it must be like this. Because I mean, our bodies, let's be honest, is one of the things that we try to control the most. And really, how much does that actually work out? Like, our bodies literally have our back. Like, we destroy them, or we do things that they know aren't good for us, or that, you know, they'd really rather not, and we push them, and then we overfeed them, and then the body's like, I'm still here, I'm still do whatever you want, I know that you could create something amazing, I've got your back. So this is just one of the little tastes of an exercise that you can start to have your body's back.
I'm going to just, one of the things Rebecca and I talked about before doing this this Telesummit recording today was that I was going to let her help me, because as a news reporter starting in the 80s, I wasn't in my body. So I kind of left my body, I think, around age 15 and started just getting really cerebral. And really, all the feedback I would get was around my intelligence. And so working with some of the beautiful people in the Rebecca's world lately, I've been kind of having baby conversations with body. And so from that perspective, Rebecca, what can you share with me and with others who may have been, I don't know if it's fear of being in the body, or what if my body wants too much from me, or what if it's too hungry, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like that place where that awareness of body feels awkward or uncomfortable. What can you do to kind of help with that?
Well, one, let's use this first tool of, is that actually yours? Who does that belong to? Like, we have two choices, really, of how we live. There's the world of, maybe we could say, this reality, or the rules, or the...
Oh, yeah, both my parents. Both. Yeah,
right.
They were both, like, very physical, very beautifully physical, and very scared of that energy and held it back.
So how much of that is actually a capacity?
Ooh.
Right, so maybe it's more, how much were you told, or what story did you buy where that being that embodied, or being that present in a body, or present to other bodies, or having that kind of beauty would only create destruction? And as a beautiful, infinite being, you go, oh no, me, I don't want to destroy the world. I don't want to do that. I'll just cut everything off and just make sure that the world stays okay. But the thing is, the world isn't staying okay, and maybe having that capacity of choosing it, and choosing to be that presence and that beauty, or have that physicality, or to even to make people uncomfortable, maybe it might actually create a different possibility. It might create something.
So, got it.
Yeah.
When you're walking into the airport, right? Because you're spending some time in airports right now. Okay. When you walk in the airport, right, Rebecca, and you're just like devastatingly attractive, and your body is like the bomb, how do you navigate the attention? How do you, what are your tools for, like, when people are just like looking at you right and left because you're standing out?
Well, one, like, do get this, I do get surprised. I was with one of the fabulous women I work with, Catherine McIntosh, in the airport, and I literally stopped the airport. People stopped to look at me, and I was like, what? What's going on? What are these people looking at? And then Catherine just turns to me and she goes, honey, they're looking at you.
And she's pretty yummy too, right?
So like, allow yourself to be surprised. It's fun. It is a surprise. It's delightful. And then B, like, would you be willing to admit that it's actually fun? Like, what's a person going to do in an airport? Going to walk up to you and ask for your number, like, or wolf whistle? Like, that's about it, really. Like, it's going to happen to you from being admired or stopping people in their tracks. Actually, it's probably going to make their day better. Like, you think of when you see something beautiful in your day, how much more does that contribute? How much happier do you feel that day because you saw that beautiful thing? So would you be willing to be that beautiful thing that does light up people's worlds, that does stop people in their tracks, that does make people think, who is she? Or who is he? Like, what is going on? What does she have? Like, I'll have what she's having, kind of thing.
I love it. Tell me, when you're working with people on their bodies and their physicality and their sort of movement, what are some things that people get really sticky about, and what do you recommend for getting through some of that stickiness?
Well, it does seem to be different for every person. But if I can tap into the energy of the happiness telesummit listeners, I would say like find a place in your body where something is like sticking, and it may not be that. It could be, oh, I really hate my face, or oh, I really hate my tummy, or it could be just like this energetic place. It would actually ask you to go past that physical place in your body and find the energetic place where it's like full. You feel a little bit stuck, or it's just this. There's an energy there. I'm pretty sure by me just talking about it, everyone feels a little bit horrible right now and has found that.
Right.
Right, so if you look at that energy and just like, hi, what are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? What's made you like this? And you may get an answer in your head, and you also might not. But by looking at the energy and actually be willing to look at it, not hiding from it anymore, how much is it already changing? And this is how fast energy is. It's literally, I brought up the energy of it. I haven't even finished talking about it, and already all of you guys are like, okay, I got it. And then I talk about acknowledging it or just being with it without a judgment or a point of view, and it goes, and it's starting to unravel.
Mm.
And then you went and checked back to see what it was doing, and you created it a little bit again. That's also how fast you are. Like, it's relaxed, and then you went like this again. Yeah. So one of the tips I do when people say, oh, I felt really great, and then they feel like stuck again is, well, did you invite it back? Or like, did you create it again?
Right.
How much did we create what we've already created so then it feels familiar?
Whew, that, yeah. Do the clearing thing on that.
Which is one of the ways that I use to change the energy. And so basically everything that brought up and all that energy, will we now dissipate and release it? Give me a yes, then I'll use the clearing statement of right, wrong, good, bad, hot, pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. It sounds like gibberish, and it is. So feel free to play crazy.
And just go with it. You don't have to understand it.
All one of those people that needs to know information right now, multitask, I know you do it, and go to theclearingstatement.com.
Perfect.
Keep on listening.
Perfect. So I want to just have you go ahead and share a little bit about the offer that we have for people who would like to step into that sort of yummy body energy that Rebecca, that you bring. And I want to share with everyone the word orgasms in it. Ah!
Yes, it is. I'm just
So tell us about the package.
So one of the offers I have is a class. I'm pretty sure it's around 2 hours of an audio class called Set Your Body Free, Bathing in the Joy of Your Body, which is where I started to combine like some energy work. So even though it's not done live, the energy work I did in the class still goes on for every single person that listened to it and changes the molecules that you've been like sticking in your body, like the energy that before. And so this class is about combining that with like, what if you could have your bodies back as much as it has yours? And if you were that powerful of a duo, I wonder what you could create. I wonder if your money flows would increase, or your happiness quota would increase, or maybe your upper limits would go away, or your business would start thriving, or you'd have the courage to do what you always wished you could and knew you could, just weren't willing to believe it.
I love this, and you can actually also receive the, what is it, 69 Shades of Pleasure. Tell us about that.
So 69 Shades of Pleasure is a book I wrote with the phenomenal Liam Phillips because he's one of my greatest friends and a total dog. And our relationship always gets people questioning. So when we go out for a drink, and he is tall and skinny and in his 50s, and I am young and bright and in my 20s, and we always get the, are we together or is it her daughter? What's going on? And so we really thought we'd play on that, and we created this book called 69 Shades of Pleasure, the handbook you should have been given at 18. And our in detail market research, we did a lot of research for this book. Really happy to know, and it was lots of fun. And it's basically all of these different tips about like how much more pleasure could you have in your life and with members of the other sex or in your relationships. And we've made it really fun. Liam and I are not the types to do serious or dry, so there's
Nice.
in this.
Nice.
There's jokes. There's funny stories. I think my
Mm.
mom is even mentioned in the book. So if that gives you a little bit of a taste of the orgasmic qualities of the book and the humor of it, then that's one of
Okay,
the.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and everyone go get the package because it's so beautiful, and support the work Rebecca's doing and being in the world. And I have a question to take us to the next level, which is when you feel your life changing and expanding and growing, and you feel all this change kind of shifting and waking up, your happiness is expanding. Maybe just share a little bit of what do we do then, like for the people that are just kind of clicking and things are showing up, and yet this causes discomfort because it's so different than how their life was. Maybe just share for those people some of your tools, some of your questions, how you wake up every day when you're in so much expansion, Rebecca. What can you share with us?
I would say acknowledge that it's uncomfortable. This is really uncomfortable for me right now, but don't make it a big deal. For me, when I get like that, I know that so much more is possible, so I just run with it. Okay, how could I be more uncomfortable? What else could I do? Like, what other crazy ideas could I just launch out into the open right now? Like, how much could you just run with this energy, even though you might be scared shitless or really uncomfortable or feel like you're going to throw up or feel like your head is about to explode or your heart's in your chest or it's down in your stomach? Like, no matter what's going on, what if you just ran with it anyway? What if it didn't even matter?
Mm.
Because to me, like, that's where the strength comes out. That's where the confidence comes out. That's when I don't really need anything to make me happy. It's just an energy I can have. And so much more is created for me when I just go nuts with whatever is going on. Full out. No help holding back.
I love it. So RebeccaHulse.com to get more. Go ahead and get her package right now because you can listen to hours of Rebecca, and what could be more beautiful than that? And Rebecca, thank you so much for being here with me on the Happiness Telesummit.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for watching this. I'm truly honored that you chose to join this. It's a bigger thing than you realize. And also to Erica, like, this is not the first summit you put on, and you're also launching 4 billion books at the same time. Like, you have a lot going on your plate, and I just adore you. Thank you for inviting me to be on.
Mm.